Anyway, so back to thinking about liberty. Yeah, we're kind of a bad spot right now. What is anything happening politically here in New Hampshire around trans people in particular?
There are a lot of bills that are going to the New Hampshire House.
Okay.
For anti-trans stuff.
Okay. And I'm assuming that's Republicans that are doing that.
Republican or Libertarian.
Okay.
Either
Libertarian in quotes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Either trying to do like another bathroom bill, or banning transition therapy.
And that can include everything from therapy, like talk therapy, all through, physical changes.
Not just medical intervention.
Yeah.
Even like the transgender persons in sports. Those kind of bills, and most of them, when you read them, are completely ignorant to anything involved.
Right.
The sports thing, I forget her name, but the swimmer that made news.
Oh, Leah Thomas. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a lot of conversations with friends who are Republican about that.
Yeah.
Them knowing, my accomplishments in sports, and wanted to know, like, me being a transgender woman, what's my opinion on that? How, Caitlyn Jenner says this. Well, fuck her.
Caitlyn Jenner. Talk about a self-loathing trans person. I mean, I feel sorry for her just ever so slightly, because I don't think she's had a lot of contact with other trans people. Mm-hmm. So part of it is ignorance, but she's using it in such a bad platform. Yeah. So
it's being weaponized.
She is smart. She does know some things about politics. She knows what's happening. Yep. That's why she keeps having to be very defensive and be like, they didn't hire me because I'm trans. That's exactly why they hired you, Miss Jenner. That's exactly why they hired you. Because of your shit takes on trans people and you're being a trans person. Anyway.
So I've had a lot of conversations, especially around the sports one, about transgender
how do you deal
people.
with that?
So it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
As long as the people don't come as... The people that I've talked to have to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Like, they're asking a question.
Well, I'm sure you can feel it, like, when people are not.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
when they're aggressive.
One of the people I played football with.
Yeah.
In high school. And they were openly asking. One of my friends who's a Democrat, this conversation was actually happening over Facebook. And one of my friends who is Democrat started attacking them. And I had to send them a message like, no, stop. They're asking. They're genuinely asking what my opinion is, how it's dealt with. And it is honestly a complex issue.
It is really complex.
Most of the bans that they want to put out there for sports is just a blanket ban.
Yeah.
If you're transgender, like if you are a young transgender girl or a young transgender boy, you need to play... the sport for the outward-facing genitals that you were born with.
Yeah.
Right. So they completely ignore the fact, well, what if this young transgender girl never went through that first puberty?
Yeah, or they're a smaller person, or, and if we think about elite athletes, too, they're elite athletes because of their physical prowess.
Yeah.
Because of the years of training that they went through. I mean, you just don't become an elite athlete overnight.
And you only hear about the outliers.
Yeah.
There are probably thousands of young transgender men and women, boys and girls, or non-binary people that are just mediocre.
Yeah.
They're running line just like most people.
Right.
They're just coasting along. They're not breaking records doing anything like that.
And it's only when trans women became successful... in very few instances, by the way, that there was an issue because they want to make it a wedge issue. That's the only reason. I mean, if there are trans women out there, of course they're going to win every once in a while. They're certainly not dominating anything, though.
Oh no.
I mean, who's dominating it is Ledecky, right? And they put a picture. People sometimes put pictures up on the internet about her. She's a swimmer. And people accuse her of being a trans woman, and she's a cisgendered woman. Yep. She was born a woman. She just has that physiology,
right?
And she's trained forever, So she's quite muscular.
Yep.
You know? Y'all, come on. Yeah, I bet that's tricky for you, because it's almost like I mean, that's such a huge responsibility to be able to talk about that, especially as a former athlete.
What's interesting too is where I transitioned later on in life. I'm a big person.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, people can tell. Like, you're a head above me here. I mean, I'm having to lean down a little bit, so I'm...
Yeah. So I'm a large person.
Yeah.
I'm over 230 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just fat.
I get... and again, you know, I was a collegiate sports person.
Right.
And with the amount of muscle that I have on myself, where I've been on shots for just over a year, there's a significant difference that I've noticed from 2 years ago, 1 year ago, even a week ago, with what physical activity I can do and for how long.
Right.
And one of my friends online, she's also a transgender woman who happens to have a lot of muscle. Yeah. And she noticed the same exact issues. Yeah. Hormonally, testosterone is a performance-enhancing drug. Like, older athletes use it to try and stay young, stay on their game. And one thing that I just learned is it helps produce red blood cells. Yeah. But
that can be a problem, actually.
With anemia.
Yeah. Well, like what you can get is secondary polycythemia.
I don't know what that is.
It means there's a high level of red blood cells.
Okay.
Yeah. So some people have to have therapy where they are removed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in the case that I'm talking about, or the instance I'm talking about, is having more red blood cells is great for being able to bring oxygen to muscles to keep them moving, to help them repair when they're being used or after they've been used. So I get fatigued very quickly. Yeah. I don't have as much stamina as I used to. Right. I'm probably not as strong as I used to be. Right. I am still the strongest person at my company, but I know I can't lift as much. I know I can't move as much. Yeah. And when you compare it to some of these transgender athletes, look at where they excelled. Yeah. Short distance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. None of the long distance meets. Sure. For the swimmer. Like, it perfectly matches up with what I'm seeing, again, being a former athlete and maintaining the same type of activity, just having a complete swing of what my hormones are. Yeah. It's something completely being taken out of context. Oh, well, they've got more muscle. They've got, a bigger heart to help pump the blood. Well, if you have less red blood cells and you don't have enough testosterone to handle that muscle, you're carrying around dead weight.
That's right.
I have a lot of dead weight. So if you take some of those...
You have less oomph for more mass.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a strength build, not an endurance build.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It's
complex.
Yeah, it's complex. Also, I mean, there are ways that we can, if people think that this is a problem, okay, I feel like what a harsh way to deal with it, by completely banning other Americans, children even, from playing. Because when you're children, it's basically just play. I mean, some people go crazy with the Little League games or whatever.
Soccer moms.
Okay. There's some of
or
that.
Or parents.
But that's the bad stuff. That's not the good stuff. Okay? That's not what we really want our kids to be doing, for the most part.
You've now been banned from the teamwork aspect of playing games, or learning the difficulties of losing, the joys of winning.
And also just camaraderie. Just being there at the place, bringing your parents, it's so lovely, normal, being a part of stuff. So trans people are being isolated, and it's a knowing process. I mean, they're knowingly doing this.
So I think it has to be a combination of things. Yeah. One, we have to actually listen to the science. Yeah. The data that's actually there that we can look at. Like you mentioned before, there's a lot more research recently that's been done for transgender persons.
But also there's not much research in general, which is terrible.
But
Do we
being
also
able to
do we also want to
that.
wait till there's 20 years of data on something? Probably not.
Not necessarily,
Yeah.
but there is opportunities to look at what we currently have.
Sure.
And regulate based on that, and then adjust based on actual instances. I hate to call it anecdata,
Yeah.
but you know, one or
Yeah.
two instances, it's anecdotal data.
That's what we have here is just one or two instances. The state of Ohio banned trans kids from sports because there was one trans girl, one in the state who was open and who was doing sports.
That's stupid.
One.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's not a fear for
Yeah.
no good reason, I don't know what is.
Yeah. So go on.
So slightly over-regulating.
Yeah.
Not banning,
Yeah.
but over-regulating. And then changing regulations and see what happens. But it has to be something that's done where we have a large enough sample size to actually do something. So scientific method type thing. You know, 1 point that's just 1 point.
Yeah.
You need, I think it's 33 to get a good spread.
Right.
The more, the better.
So we actually have to have trans people involved
Yes.
in sports to be able to even do this.
So like the NCAA did well,
Yeah.
where they actually have regulations on transgender persons playing sports. I can't remember how they regulated it, but it's the NCAA. It covers all colleges.
Yeah.
Unless the colleges, you know, have their own specific little thing that they put in that prevents it from happening. I don't know if that violates NCAA rules, but
I see what you're saying by talking about them, maybe. But the problem is that school boards and state agencies control schools,
yeah,
right? Grade schools and high schools and stuff. So all these different bodies are controlling different aspects. So if you don't have the foundation of being an athlete when you're a kid, you're probably a lot less likely to be like a college athlete.
probably,
That sort of thing.
yeah.
So there's a little disconnect there.
Well,
Yeah.
so, but again, it stands by the same idea of having a baseline to do a study, an
Sure.
experiment on,
Sure.
to gather good data on,
Yeah.
amongst enough data points
Sure.
to be able to regulate based on that. And
Yeah.
it will definitely probably change between college and high school and middle school. Like like late grade school, early middle school, there's no difference.
No.
There's really no difference.
No difference
That's
at all.
right when puberty and
Yeah.
you know, and people is
Yeah.
just starting.
And at the same time, that I mean, it's obvious, but I have to mention it. We're banning trans healthcare for children. So there's no winning. There's no winning because they don't want us to exist. And that sounds dramatic, but it's true.
Yeah.
If they're banning healthcare for trans people need healthcare. I mean, to physically transition, to even socially transition, you know, therapy is a really good thing to go through. You know, and banning that is it's a violation of our human rights.
And
You know?
these are the same people, or some of the same people pushing that
Yeah.
are like, oh, you know, my body, my choice.
Sure.
You know, you can't force me to get
Vaccines.
a shot.
Yeah.
Or,
Sorry, my dog
Yep. No,
bounced something.
so the same people are like, you know, it's my body. I get to make
Yeah.
the informed decisions about my own body. Well, you're stopping them from doing the same thing.
Right.
And it's not like they can just go, hey, I'm going to... Oops, sorry. I redlined that one.
No, it's fine.
But it's like, hey, you know, I'm just going to go and start this on a whim. It's like, okay, you know, there's psychologists.
Yeah.
If you're young enough, there's your parents.
That's right.
There's your doctor. There's an endocrinologist.
They ask you over and over about it. Even me, so I started hormones in 2000, so it's been over 22 years. Even recently, I've been experiencing gatekeeping around hormones. So it's not even as me, I've been doing it for decades. They still ask you questions and they still make you go through hoops. It's not an easy process. Okay?
Don't you know you're going to make permanent physical changes to your body? Yeah, that's the idea.
Thank goodness. Although, you know, some of the nose hair and ear hair I could do without it that, but you know, it comes with it. It comes with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that. So what else can we talk about? Are you a religious person at all? Are you involved
I'm
in
Wiccan.
any? Oh, Wiccan.
Yep.
Awesome. Wicked.
A New England term.
So
Wicked, it means really.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so something that's wicked good or wicked pissa, that's
Wicked.
really good.
Yeah. That's like a Boston thing. I've heard that in Boston. Yeah, I love how actually people in Boston talk. You know, so much swearing and
It's very relaxed.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Like people say like a Boston accent is hard to do.
Uh-huh.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
You just have to relax a lot of things that you're saying.
Oh, okay.
So like I grew up maybe half an hour drive from Boston.
Okay.
Okay. And that's far enough.
Like more towards Salem and all that?
More towards Newburyport.
Okay.
So yeah, just higher up as opposed to that way. So, you know, where I grew up, there was no Boston accent.
Okay.
Right. But for some reason, when I went to college and I would drink, if I had some beers, like all of a sudden my R's were dropping.
That's hilarious.
You know, I'm sounding like I'm from Southie, and it's like I've never been to that, but it just happened.
That's hilarious. You know, actually, I lived in Texas when I was a teenager, which I was glad to escape, by the way, at some point. But it was great for what it was. Like, there was a really great punk scene there in the late 80s, etc. I mean, it had its good spots, but I was glad to leave. But while I was there, I would never say stuff like y'all. Never. Because that was country. There was no way I was going to say that. But then when I moved to Seattle, you betcha, I definitely said y'all.
So what's funny is the South has maybe the most inclusive saying.
Oh.
And they don't even realize it.
Yeah, it's true.
All y'all?
No, it's true.
It includes everybody.
I agree. And actually, I know some people who are self-proclaimed socialists. That's what I'll call them. I don't, the way that they are in the world is not actually socialist, but they call themselves that. They tried to bring in y'all, but I think it's strange when people from the North say y'all. You know, if you don't have any kind of Southern kind of connection, I think it's a little disrespectful, personally.
I went to basic in Georgia. Does that count?
Sure.
Can I say y'all?
I think so. I think that counts.
All right, then.
I mean, you suffered
accent.
through all that, the bugs and the heat, and you were doing some heavy work. So
it was during the summer.
Yeah. I think you deserve that. But these are people like from, you know, Seattle and California and stuff,
or from like Minnesota.
Yeah. And I was actually born in Minnesota, and I've been back there. So yeah, sure, you betcha.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were talking about religion, by the way.
Anyway, yeah. Well, we'll get back to that at some point. But yeah, inclusive terms. This one lady was like this trans woman, and it was in a peer group. You know, like a peer support group. And she was like, "Well, comrade, that's a inclusive term too." And I was just like, I know some of you who are probably so sort of like, yeah, awesome. I was just like, come on.
Comrade, yes, dos vidania.
Yeah. Anyway, back to religion. So Wicca, which, I mean, New England, thinking about the witches and the trials and all the craziness.
Which most of them weren't, but anyway.
Okay. Yeah, it was drug induced, and people wanted other people's lands, and yeah, they were jerks. Anyway, so how do you do that out here?
So I'm non-practicing.
Non-practicing. Okay.
So all right. So I was raised Roman Catholic.
Any particular strain of that? Because I know there's a lot of different kinds.
I forgot what his name is. I think it's Gardnerian.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so solo practitioner.
I've heard that name before.
So I was raised Roman Catholic.
Okay.
And this was in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
So there was a lot of things that the church was promoting at the time. And I personally didn't feel that way. Like, a lot of it was wives are subservient to men, being gay is bad.
Right.
There was a lot of stuff like that, and it just didn't sit well with me.
Yeah. Pope John Paul II had a very intimate relationship with politics here in this country.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I started to actually kind of look into other religions loosely. When I joined the military is when I actually kind of zoned in and started really researching other religions, just to try and see what matched what my beliefs were.
Okay.
At the time.
Was that when you were like a teenager or something?
18.
Okay. Yeah.
18 when I went to basic, 5 days after graduation.
Okay, interesting.
So
you leave your hometown and you're like, I'm going to explore something else.
Well, I started to very loosely.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, when I went to basic, I had access because...
well, you know they have Wiccan chaplains in
right, they were
military.
just starting to get them.
Yes.
So what we could do is, when you're in the service, they will not deny you religious service.
That's right.
So on Sundays, they would have all the religions, or, you know, they could group up a couple of them. Like, okay, you're Christian, Catholic, close enough, come in with them.
Yeah.
You know, Baptists, you know, you're here, you're with these guys, whatever, and they would have their masses. So I had access to a lot of people of different cultures where I could go to their masses, one, to sleep, but two, to actually like see what the masses were like, see what they were talking about, see what their beliefs were.
Sure.
When I got to
when you say to sleep, what does that mean? I mean, I can guess, but
so part of basic training, the start of basic training, is conditioning.
Sure.
You know, there's sleep deprivation, high stress environment.
Sure.
Trying to get you to be able to learn new behaviors, learn new reactions, to be able to handle those stresses without...
harden you up.
Right.
Yeah.
Which some of it I had to unlearn, but there's some of it that makes a lot of sense when you look at it in the long run.
Yeah, of course. Training people to be in stressful situations, you have to put them in them.
Yep. You need to be able to make a decision in that situation. If this is new to you, you're not used to it, then...
right.
You may or may not be able to do it. You haven't been tested. This tests you.
Right, right.
So when I say sleep deprivation, have you ever been to a Baptist church? Like a Southern Baptist?
No.
Loud, boisterous, very fun, lots of energy.
Sounds great.
I slept through most of it.
Okay. All right.
So that's what I mean to go to sleep. But like I was mentioning, I had access to people. And when I got to my training for the job training, the AIT for the military, I had access to libraries. So I could actually pull out books and start looking into things.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the most part, Wicca seemed to align more with how I felt. You know, I've talked a lot about balance, or things have to, you know, work with each other. So the concept of having a single deity didn't sit well with me.
Okay.
There had to be some type of counterpart, opposite but equal, where, you know, they work together for things to flow. Okay. And that seemed to work.
Some people think of a single deity also as more of just a cosmic, universal kind of idea rather than a personification. You know? Yep. So.
But no, so that's how I kind of got into that. And that's when I learned that, oh, there's more than one, you know, flavor of witchcraft. And it's not just, you know, from the movie The Craft, which
yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, anything that's depicted in movies is usually not anything to do with reality. I made a joke with somebody about, you know, dating being like The Bachelor or something like that. No. Hopefully not. Hopefully your dating life is not like that.
I don't know. I've been married for 16 years, so.
Well, that's
dating,
great.
What's that?
That's great. How did your, I mean, if this is very personal, but how did your wife take that?
Not good.
No. Okay.
Nope. So the whole, remember how I mentioned raising money for charity? Sure. So the last goal of the charity that I actually did for Stack Up was to do a cosplay. And it was...
What does that mean?
Cosplay? Costume play, wearing a costume of a character.
So like Halloween kind of.
Kinda. Yeah. But more trying to be as accurate as possible to the source material.
Okay. All right.
So they also have this thing called crossplay, where you will either dress as the opposite gender, or change the character so that it fits your own gender. Okay. All right. And it's widely accepted in anime.
So if it's a male character in a movie or something, you would want to make that female, but close to the
the source material.
The source material, okay.
Or make a more masculine version of, or okay, so if you were a woman doing a male character, you could either make yourself look more masculine to fit that role, or you could feminize that character to look to fit more towards
That's
you.
interesting.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So
that happens a lot at those conferences, right? Those...
Anime and gaming conventions. It happens a lot at.
Sci-fi too, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the character that was picked by the social media and my community was Tsunade Senju from Naruto.
I have no idea what that is.
So Tsunade Senju is a famous ninja warrior, a woman. Her expertise is medical jutsu.
Okay.
So healing. She's famous for healing.
Okay.
And being beautiful. Tall, blonde, lithe, huge breasts. It plays into things. Okay. This is the character.
I used to have
chose that.
I used to have huge breasts, by the way, and they can really get in the way of a lot of things. Anyway.
Oh.
I'm small, and I was like built like Dolly Parton. Anyway.
I have broad shoulders. This doesn't work for me. So I had to dress as that person.
Sure.
So I had actually worked things with a hair salon to help do the wig and the makeup. And I was actually... Oh,
you were really going for it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to half-ass this. Like, sure. I raised the money, and I'm going to go in for this.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Because you know what? If I do it well enough, people might send in more money even after the fundraiser stops.
Oh, okay. So it was a fundraising effort.
It was. It was for Stack Up.
Okay. All right. Okay?
So I did that.
That's so interesting that you're doing like this cross-gender play stuff for military.
It was before I realized I was transgender.
That's great. That's great.
So I even had from Amazon. I worked with a distributor on Amazon that sells silicone breastplates.
Okay. Yeah.
To match the chest size
sure.
of this particular person.
Sure. Oh my goodness.
I had to do some social media stuff around it, and
I bet that was heavy. I can imagine.
Well, what's interesting is so it ended up being like a 42H.
Oh my
something like
goodness
that.
gracious!
But where it covered like my abdomen and my back, and it was squeezed. Most of the weight was distributed throughout my entire body, as opposed to just my back.
So it sounds like kind of like a backpack kind of.
Yeah. Good. It had really good weight distribution.
Yeah.
The links in the no. Okay.
No, I won't be doing that. I do that for political stuff and religious stuff.
So I did the crossplay, and I was done up the entire day. So it wasn't like a last minute thing because I had to hit a stream time for the schedule. So I got dressed up, got my makeup done. I had to go out and get some other stuff, and I was that way the entire time. The stream ended, and I was hanging out with my family, and I didn't get undressed.
Yeah.
And just being treated differently that day, being pampered with all the hair and the makeup, and
people knew who you were.
Yep, because I had contacted them. Because I had contacted them beforehand.
Okay.
For helping do this type of stuff.
People around you at this event, they knew what.
So it was from my home.
Okay.
So it was my wife.
Oh, you were streaming it. Right.
I was streaming from my house. Yeah.
Right.
So my wife, my daughter, and one of her friends. Had come over, and just doing that all day. That's when the egg just started to really crack. Like there was probably super glue in places from my childhood. Like looking back at things. There was, tons of duct tape. After that happened, my brain went down a slippery slope. It just, the egg cracked. I actually started drinking a lot at that point in time, trying to come to terms with everything that happened.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
Yeah.
So I had gone home, and I let my wife know that I may be transgender. I really do believe that I'm transgender. And this person that I started talking with wants me to start hormones. I don't want to because we have to talk first.
Yeah.
And she didn't take that very well. She didn't want any human contact with me for 2 days.
Oh,
actually,
wow.
It might have been 2 weeks.
Oh,
But
my
it was
goodness.
because she had to wrap her head around this. And it's like, okay, listen.
That you were considering physical changes.
Yep.
Okay.
Because in the beginning, when we had first got together, probably 17 years previous to that,
Yeah.
one of her things was, when coming to terms with me cross-dressing, was no physical changes.
Okay. Was that kind of an agreement between you two?
It was an agreement.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
I
gotta say, that's hardcore.
It was one of those things where you make sacrifices.
Yeah.
In different places, different aspects of things. Like, there's no way you can get through life not making sacrifices.
Sure.
So,
I'd like to push back on that idea just for a second, though.
okay.
I don't think it's a useful thing to sacrifice your identity, though. Like, you can sacrifice your time, like working more, taking care of kids more, that sort of thing. But when it comes to your own identity, it's suppression. It's suppression.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But at the time when it happened originally,
Yeah.
this was
I'm just saying that
this was almost 2 decades. Oh, no.
I'm just saying that generally. Yeah. Don't sacrifice yourselves, y'all. Anyway.
So when it happened originally with the cross-dressing and other things, it was like, okay, yeah, I can. All right.
Yeah.
We'll do this.
It always comes out, though. I mean, it comes
does.
out.
And so when it came out this time, originally the first thing that she said was, I want a divorce. And, I don't mind co-parenting. And there was, that was the immediate thought, was divorce.
Wow.
And this. And, when we were finally, when she allowed me to even, like, touch her finger, when she I don't want to say welcome, when she allowed physical contact, even in the just the basic human feeling somebody else there, kind of thing, it was like I can not do this, this is me talking, I can not do this, I can I'm doing it because I didn't want to lose her.
Right. The relationship was the utmost part.
She complimented me, and I complimented her.
Yeah.
In what we do, how we lived. I'm starting to tear up. So that was very important to me.
Right. Companionate love.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening was she, with the time that she got to think about things, she realized that this is out.
There's no going back.
Throwing somebody back into the closet, like, she's bi.
Yeah.
So she knows about being in the closet when she was younger.
Right.
But once somebody's out, throwing them back in, that's not good.
Yeah.
She knows. She's, had friends that she's lost along the way.
Right.
So she knew this, but we started talking. And this has been a big part of our relationship for the majority of it. The first 2 years, we had terrible communication.
Okay.
We weren't communicating very well.
Yeah.
After that, communication was the key to making everything work.
Right.
When somebody had an issue, we needed to communicate with it. Either now or a little bit later. Like, I like to deal with things right away.
Yeah.
She likes to stew on them for a little bit and then go. Not like stew in a bad way.
No, I know. I'm one of those stewers as well.
Those.
It can be so annoying when somebody just wants to talk right now and let's process and blah blah blah. I'm like, wait a second, I just gotta sit back and like.
So I had to learn that
chill.
myself.
Yeah.
How to be like, I want to deal with this right now. Okay, you need a sec. I'm just gonna leave you alone so you can deal with that, which has helped dealing with other people, like in the business world.
Right. It's a way to develop patience.
But we both decided and agreed that we wanted to go to marriage counseling.
Yeah. Smart.
Because
very smart.
We had a Wiccan wedding, and our vows state, as long as our love shall last.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
instead of a legal requirement. Yeah.
It's love. If we no longer love each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we could end the marriage.
Yeah. Right. That's very anarchistic. Yeah, it's great.
So we realized we both greatly loved each other. Somehow we wanted to make this work.
Yeah. Right.
So we went to go and see a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
She had worked with people who were transgender before, not couples.
Yeah.
But what she did is she treated it as just regular couples therapy.
Yeah.
It's a communication thing. And luckily, with us, how communication was a big part of what we did.
Right.
What it was we really needed was a guide. We can work our way through things, but this was new territory.
Yeah.
We needed somebody to steer us in the right direction. So, the therapist,
it
the
didn't sound that new, though. I mean, you guys have been kind of dealing with it sound like for a while.
But not this. This is
Yeah.
a huge life changer.
Yeah.
Like, dressing a certain way in private
Sure.
where nobody can see you or anything
Sure.
like that. That's one thing.
But there's
changing your public image.
There's a foundation to that, though.
Yeah.
That she knew that this was probably a very, somehow that this was truly part of you, because she had experienced that before.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with the communication, the therapist was like, "This has probably been the easiest couples counseling I've ever had."
That's wonderful.
She's like, "Because you love her,
Yeah.
and she loves you."
Yeah. You want to work on it.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause she noticed, like, even in therapy, like, we're trying not to hurt each other.
Right.
The
Yeah.
entire time, like when we're doing things,
Oh, yeah.
we're caring so much about how the other person cares about ourselves.
Yeah.
And how that affects, like, and it worked. Like, I know a couple of people who it hasn't worked with.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like the majority of transgender women who are married before they transition usually end up in divorce or co-parenting.
That's been your experience.
That's been my experience with my anecdata with talking with people.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not a common thing.
Yeah, but I've known a lot of trans women who've stayed in their relationships. Yeah.
So it worked for us. It was very bad to begin with, but as the realization, it's like, okay, what changes? You're still working. I'm still doing this. She's still doing this. I'm still doing this.
Do you have kids, by the way?
We do. We
Okay.
have 2 children.
Yeah.
Our eldest was excited to have 2 moms.
Oh, wow.
And our youngest just turned 5 several months ago. So she's growing up with 2 moms. We have Big Mama and Little Mama.
Wow.
I'm Big Mama, and then we have Little Mama.
I have to take a break for a second. I just noticed something up there, by the way. It says L. Ron Hubbard on the inside of the shelter. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So strange. What a random thing to see in a shelter.
This is a quote from Peter Pan.
Yeah, I love you, Neverland.
Yep. There's a very artistic Little Miss Muffet drawn out over
what
here.
What does that say? The Queens or something? The Queers?
The Queers.
Okay. I love
queers.
I love boobs.
I love boobs.
Gays.
0B. I may be disordered and psychotic, but at least I'm hot.
Balls and titties.
Cerberus was here.
Yeah, well.
Bitches.
Yeah, we can see that there's a
mix.
There's a certain quality to the messaging here. It looks like middle school quality.
I mean, we do kind of get the mix. Like this is very nice. The quote from Peter Pan, Little Miss Muffet. There's
that's kind of artistic.
Something else I was reading. Oh, it was very. It took a little bit for me to read some of the lettering.
Yeah, it's very like stylized.
Which I think is because of the toadstools over there.
Yeah.
But no, it's a mix. Very much the middle school thing, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But
I noticed a lot of boy stuff in here. But that looks like more of a girl thing right there, like the fancy writing and the bubble writing and all that. I always wanted to do that when I was little. I was like, I just couldn't do the bubble writing. Girls would always put hearts on things and make everything all round. Mine was like, I never got the gold star or whatever.
I don't know.
You don't know? They don't do that
my
anymore.
handwriting is terrible.
Okay, yeah, you're a little bit different generation. When I was a kid, it was like all penmanship.
Oh, no.
They were still doing it?
A lot of the cis girls were doing that.
Okay,
at the time.
all right. But they actually had actual contests in school, like penmanship. And,
really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Mine was always at the lowest, but whatever. Actually, I use fountain pens now, and fountain pens will improve your handwriting if you're having trouble with that.
I'll take your word for it.
You have to be flowing.
Oh, because of the way the point is. That
yeah,
makes sense.
Because
okay.
it's a soft point, and then also you can't press too hard because you'll bust the paper, and you don't need to because it flows out of the pen. So you can be really quite elegant, and you have to. It's like you're painting with it. You really do.
That doesn't work for me.
Oh, it's sexy.
I don't have...
It's fucking sexy. I love it.
Well, I don't have the manual dexterity to do that.
Okay.
When it comes to mechanical things, yes, I can have that manual dexterity, but
see, I'm
not an artist.
I'm the opposite. I love to dance. I'm very good at sex, by the way. And I'm single. So, ladies out there, look me up. Yeah, but it's true. I'm very sensual. I love food. When I make a cake, I make it so beautiful. And, you know, I'm very good at massage, so I get right in there. So I'm very physical in this very sensual way. Mechanical stuff, I'm so afraid because I tend to break it. I don't know what the right tool is to use, and I always bust things. But for everything else, if it's curvy and I can get in there and blah, 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 that's my milieu.
So what's interesting is, say, like, you sometimes break things because you don't know the limit.
Yeah.
I can sense when things are at the proper tightness.
Yeah. See, that's not me. That's not me.
It's like that's the accuracy that I can have with my hands.
And
otherwise, it just
I get frustrated too. Like, why doesn't this just work? You know. Anyway, let's hold on a second. I gotta check this.
Battery saver's on.
Yeah, the battery's low. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to end this pretty soon.
I could keep on talking.
I know. This is pretty good. Unfortunately, I think I've been talking a little bit too much during this interview, but it's not really an interview. I just feel like we're having a conversation, and that's really what my project is about. I want to talk as much as I want you to talk, and I want us to, show people, what trans people are about, and we're so diverse. I mean, there's no box that you can put us in, and that's what I love about trans people. We're wild. We're out here. We're, boring as well. We have chickens and ducks and geese, and we fiddle with things that are broken, and we sculpt things. Anyway.
I don't.
Tell me more.
I do the chickens.
Tell me more about the Wicca stuff, because
the religion.
Yeah. You say you're a lone practitioner. Is that it?
Yep.
How do you do that?
So again, I'm non-practitioner.
Okay.
So when I was learning about the religion, I was learning about. So there are different types of Wicca. Like you have garden.
Just talk about yours though, since we're a little bit low on time.
So it's the idea of being able to practice your craft by yourself. No need for other people to help do the rituals or for playing around with energy or doing anything like that. It's working with yourself as a solitary practitioner.
Okay, so it's kind of set up that way.
It's kind of set up that way. It was when it started becoming popular, I think it was in the 70s. Neo-paganism, I think is what they called it at some point in time.
Part of that was feminism as well. Feminism.
Yes. So the Dianic strain of Wicca is no men whatsoever.
Right. Right.
Very feministic roots.
When I first
on
came
one.
out as queer or gay, lesbian at the time, there wasn't even like this togetherness of gays and lesbians. There was no LGBT in it. I came out into a group of lesbian separatists, and that's sort of like the same kind of thing. But anyway.
Okay. But no, it's just learning the rituals in themselves and how to get the same feel, get the same, I guess you want to say, results.
Yeah.
As a lot of the stuff that has to do with really any religion is it's how it makes you feel on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
And
what kind of connection are you going for? Because that's usually what it's about, some sort of connection.
A feeling of being whole and part of everything.
Okay.
So what I like to say is that religion is what fills the gap. Okay. What fits right for you? Because everybody has different sized puzzle pieces, I guess, where religion would sit. And there are different answers for different people that help them make whole. It helps them make what they believe more tangible. So if people have a monotheistic ideology in mind, and that's what makes them feel complete as a person, praying to this one deity or to their prophet, then that is what works for them.
Yeah.
It's not my place to say that they're wrong. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. They could be wrong. We could all be wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But it's what helps complete us as people.
Sure.
It makes us feel whole. So
Yeah, in,
me
in
wanting
Buddhism, they say there's the Buddha, there's the Dharma, and there's the Sangha. So there's the sort of the leader, let's say, who had his teachings. There's the Dharma, which is the teachings themselves, and then there's the Sangha, which is the community. So, you know, there's all this going on. As a lone practitioner, though, you're a little bit limited in a way. Do you ever connect with other Wicca practitioners?
when I was in college, I did.
Oh, really?
Actually,
Okay.
one of the women that I went to college with was actually sort of studying and learning how to be a priestess.
Oh, okay.
And she was under the impression that that
Is that like an internship kind of thing?
I
don't mean that. I don't
not
mean
quite.
that as.
More along the lines as a.
I don't mean that as a joking way, because
It was kind of joking.
there's way. I'm not joking.
So
I'm not
so
joking.
it was more along the ways of trying to learn the ins and outs of the religion, so
Okay.
that you could teach and guide other people.
Yeah, because people do, religious leaders do take on apprentices. Yeah, so
So she was under the impression that the end goal for everybody who was Wiccan
Yeah.
was to become a priest or priestess,
oh no,
and she didn't realize that
Yeah.
that wasn't like truly what it was.
American Buddhism is kind of along in that vein as well.
It's a matter of time,
Time, yeah, because you're really busy. You're building a business.
work,
Yeah,
family,
yeah, and your own
the farm.
your own personal transition.
Yep.
Yeah, socially and medically.
There's a
and-
lot.
Yeah,
So it's just a matter of not having time for it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that my daily activities, how I treat and work around other people, should really change. I
Yeah.
can treat them the way that they should be treated, based on my own personal guidelines.
Right.
And
It's always in the
what's there.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have a rather eclectic religious kind of background and interest, and all that stuff I bring with me all the time, or at least I try to, you know. Like when I am in particular situations, I think about, oh, what about this particular part of the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, what Christians call the Old Testament. You know, I think about those lessons about the fall of man, for instance, that happens over and over again. You know, I think about, you know, lessons around suffering and how to get through it, and what is the pathway through that, you know, from Buddhism. I think it's important, you know, no matter whatever it is that you believe in, you know, cultivating something like that is a little bit separate than the regular everyday secular society that can, you know, internally motivate you. And it's like a growing, I feel like it's the growing edge, you know, personally. I don't know.
it's what makes you whole.
Yeah, I feel like it does make me whole. It's where I feel like there's so much opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a religious practice, whatever it is. Anyway, yeah, I think that's a good place to end. Is there anything else you'd like to mention? Maybe a message to other trans women who are considering what you're doing, or who are new, just like yourself.
Well, for the older ladies, I can definitely say it's never too late.
Yeah.
I mean, I transitioned at 39.
Yeah.
Business owner, had a career, family.
Yeah.
So
you were very settled in some ways.
very settled.
Yeah.
And everything may not go as you want it to.
Yeah.
And it's okay to go slow. You don't have to rush things. You just have to be true to yourself and with the people that you're around, because as you transition, the people around you transition as well.
Yeah, you keep bringing that up. That's awesome.
Well, it's a thing of being mindful of other people.
Yeah.
Like, I know mindfulness was a big thing that they pushed around.
I know, it's a kind of a
for the kids, and
buzzword.
it was a buzzword
Yeah.
for a while, but
it's real. You got to be mindful.
It's like taking other people in mind.
Yeah.
When you're doing things like, oh, you're transitioning. That's so selfish. You know, you're just doing that for you, and it's like, no, but you know, there's.
It's okay to focus on yourself, though.
Yeah, if you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of others?
Yeah, and if you're not happy, that extends out to other people as well.
Mm.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to work on your happiness. Yeah.
If you're happy, you're refilling your spoons.
That's right.
And now you have spoons you can work with other people.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, it's never too late. It's okay to take your time. You don't have to rush. I felt like I had to, but still took, you know, a while to start transitioning. But, you know, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's never too late to do it.
And it's a process. You know, it's not instant. Even if you start, you know, it takes a really long time. And I feel like I'm still growing into being a man. You know, I mean, I think a lot of cisgendered people feel that way as well. You know, they go through changes in life as well. You know, becoming middle-aged. You know, that's certainly a process. I'm sure that becoming, if I'm lucky enough to become an elderly person, that will also be quite a challenge. You know? Yeah. We all have that. We all have that.
Oh, the other thing is people will surprise you.
Cool.
People will surprise you. Like there are some people that you can predict. Well, no, even if I say that, like I know elderly folks that have known me my entire life. Didn't bat an eye when I transitioned.
Well, they probably saw it too. They probably saw it in you somewhere.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
So I actually have no, that's not something to talk about. That's might be a little too personal calling somebody out. But no, I've seen with people that know me as a person, and once the stigma of me coming out, once they've realized that I'm not going to change as a person, like I'm still the same person.
Your essential core of who you are doesn't change. In fact, in some ways, like the gender identity, I mean, that's who you are, but it's just one aspect. It's just one part, you know. Everything else is the same that people are used to. And yeah, it's interesting that people have sometimes such a strong reaction that stays. I mean, initially, maybe it's a little bit shocking or something, but you can get over that initial shock.
I think as it becomes more normalized, like maybe it never truly will, but as it becomes more normalized, as people meet in person more and more transgender persons and realize, oh, you're not this stereotype we see on social media and on TV and stuff like that, then the stigma fades away.
But also those people that you might think are the stereotype, like with crazy, wild pink hair or whatever, fist in the air, fighting for social justice, whatever. Those people are part of the trans community, and a lot of those people are really cool, and a lot of them are fighting for our rights. They're not only fighting for trans people's rights, they're fighting for everybody's rights. They have to be out there. They have to be a little bit obnoxious. They have to be yelling because things don't change otherwise.
And all you're seeing is that one snippet of that person.
That's right. That's right.
That's just one snippet in an entire facet of the person.
They could be a teacher. They could be an engineer. They could be a baker. They could be a religious leader. They could be all kinds of things. So really, there's a stereotype, but you know that, as we know, stereotypes fall apart pretty quickly.
Well, like we mentioned, or like I mentioned in the beginning, it's a good thing for like my town that I exist the way that I am. Yeah. Because I'm breaking those stereotypes with every person that I meet.
Yeah, and you're from here, and people have known you a long time, and you know, it's great. It's great. Just, you know, we're ending this video here, but how do you take care of yourself?
I try to make sure that my mental health is in check.
Okay.
So I will only hand out as many spoons as I can for stuff on the internet.
Oh, so you're good with boundaries?
Yeah. Okay. I need to set like limits on conversations that I'll get into and conversations that I'll straight up avoid or limit the conversations that I have because those in themselves are draining.
Yeah, that's good advice.
The other part is taking care of my family in the emotional sense.
Yeah.
being there for my, you know, teenage daughter, being there with my 5-year-old daughter.
And getting that love back, too.
Right.
Yeah.
And just being there. That is... I need to do more health-related keeping myself, you know,
okay,
good. But that's how I try and keep everything in check.
So when you say health stuff,
things.
You're kind of burning the candle at both ends? Is that what you mean?
I haven't done any exercise or anything in years.
Oh, I see.
Just work around the house, which, you know, isn't good. I need to do more physical activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But your battery's about to die.
Yeah. It's really radical to try and make a change like that. Yeah. And then make it a habit as well.
Well, I used to be physical. It should be easy, right?
No. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a lot going on. Yeah. So some of that
time thing.
Some of that self-care stuff you put off, and then, you know, 10 years later, it's like, oh shit.
Yep.
You know? Anyway, I hope you're able to do that. But I mean, it sounds like you're doing great anyway. Yeah, it's hard to know when to stop this. Let's stop now.
Okay.
I gotta go. The batteries, the screen is almost dark, and there's like a warning sign there. Anyway, thank you so much for coming, and thanks for being so flexible this morning. We started out in another park, and it just didn't work, so we came to this one here.
Thank you for posting about it.
Yeah.
And sharing with everyone. Hopefully, with the numerous people apparently
Oh
from
my
New Hampshire
goodness.
that want to talk.
Yeah.
You get some good content that you can
I'm
put up on
excited.
your for your podcast.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's been hard sometimes getting people to interview. People are afraid. You know, there's a lot of changes going on, so people are afraid, or they're just busy. You know, they're just trying to get by and survive. So it's kind of an extra thing to do something like this. So, yeah, you know, thanks for coming out today and being flexible. I appreciate it.